Welcome to Reddit Tea Time. This story is from r/Am I Horrible? Am I terrible for not baking a birthday cake for my nephew? I'm a baker. I started baking since high school and have been baking birthday cakes for my family. It was a good way to let people know I bake, to get feedback, and to experiment. Thanks to that, I've gotten a few cake orders from my relatives and friends. After high school, I went to culinary school and have been working professionally since. I've made birthday cakes for my sister, her husband, her 3 kids, my parents every year, excluding a couple of years in between when I was abroad. I didn't charge them anything as it was a present from me. These custom cakes normally cost around $200 to $250. This year on my birthday, I didn't have anything planned, didn't remind anyone that it was coming up. I was hoping at least one of them would remember and surprise me with something. But when I asked my mom if she bought a cake for me, she said she thought I would bake a cake for myself on my birthday. I was hurt. I didn't make cakes wanting to get anything in return, but I realized I was being taken for granted. After a few months, it was my nephew's 7th birthday. This time I decided to not bring a cake and instead brought him a toy he wanted. When I got to my sister's house, she asked me where the cake was. I told her I didn't bring one. She got mad at me, saying that she expected me to bring a cake and didn't order one from a shop. I told her that it wasn't my problem. She could have asked me and ordered one from my bakery. My nephew was crying that he didn't have a cake and my sister blamed me for making him sad on his birthday. After the birthday party, I had numerous relatives making me seem like the bad guy and ruining the party. When I talked to my friends and coworkers about this, they were on my side. I'm not sure how I feel. Are you kidding me right now? This girl has been making cakes for her family and friends for years, but when it comes time for her birthday, nobody remembers or does anything for her. And then when she decides to buy her nephew a toy instead of baking a cake, her sister gets mad and blames her for making the kid cry? You're not the terrible one in this situation. Your family is taking advantage of you and they need to recognize that. First of all, it's not your responsibility to bake a cake for your nephew's birthday. You're a professional baker, and if your sister wanted a cake from you, she should have asked and paid for it like any other customer. And even if she didn't want to pay for it, it's not like there aren't other options. She could have ordered a cake from a bakery or made one herself. But to expect you to just show up with a custom cake like it's no big deal, that's ridiculous. And then to blame you for the kid's tears? Come on, that's not your fault. Your sister should have made sure he was still happy to have his aunt there with a present for him. I think it's time for you to set some boundaries with your family. If they want a cake from you, they need to pay for it or make other arrangements. And if they can't remember your birthday or appreciate the work you do for them, then maybe it's time to reevaluate those relationships. You deserve better than this. In our next Am I Horrible story, OP wants to know if he's terrible for not cleaning up when his wife's friend comes over. My very pregnant wife is having her friend come over today. To get ready, last night I cleaned the kitchen thoroughly and vacuumed downstairs. During this time, she was watching TV. This morning, I woke up early and took our son downstairs. I fed him, cleaned the dishes, and mopped the downstairs. When my wife came downstairs 30 minutes later, we switched to her watching our son while I got ready to go to the dump. While I was doing this prep, which is a decent amount, she was FaceTiming her mom. When I got back from the dump and getting gas, she was still FaceTiming and chatting to her mom on the couch. I ate breakfast and was also feeding my son again when she asked me if I was going to tidy up. I said no and that she should do it because I feel like I did more than my fair share while she sat on the couch and talked to her mom both last night and this morning. She got very upset and said they were my things to tidy up. It was mostly DIY and house cleaning items, which does often fall under my domain. We had a massive fight. Am I terrible for not wanting to tidy up? Well, beyond being very pregnant, it's not clear if your wife is otherwise incapacitated. You cleaned the kitchen, vacuumed, and mopped the downstairs and took care of your son while your wife was watching TV and FaceTiming with her mom. While it is understandable that you may feel frustrated that your wife didn't contribute more to the household chores, it's important to communicate your feelings effectively. It's also important to remember that household chores should be divided based on individual strengths and preferences rather than gender roles. In this situation, instead of outright refusing to tidy up, You could have had a conversation with your wife about how you felt about the situation and suggested ways for her to help you. You could have asked her to put away the supplies since you have to go to the dump, especially if you made the mess. Communication and compromise are key to any relationship, especially when it comes to household responsibilities. While you may not necessarily be the terrible one for not wanting to tidy up, there could have been better ways to handle the situation that would have been more productive and conducive to a healthy relationship. In this Am I Terrible story, OP wants to know if he's terrible for letting his daughter exclude her mom from her birthday dinner. My daughter's 16th birthday is tomorrow, and we decided to take everyone in my family to her favorite restaurant for dinner. Apparently, her mom, who lives in another city, decided to come to our city and surprise her by telling her that they can spend her birthday together. My daughter told her she can't because she's going out for dinner. Her mom asked if she could join and offered to pay for her own meal. My daughter told her that she'll think about it. Later, she told me that she doesn't want her mom there and asked if it's okay to exclude her and her kids. I told her it's her birthday, so if this is what she wants, then I won't stop her. Her mom is apparently very upset now and thinks I'm terrible since I was the one who decided on the guest list and I should include her and convince my daughter. Look, it's your daughter's 16th birthday. She should be able to celebrate it the way she wants, with the people she wants. If she doesn't want her mom there, that's her choice, and if her mom can't handle that, then she needs to get her act together. Who does she think she is telling you that you should convince your daughter to let her come? You're her parent, not her puppeteer. If your daughter doesn't want her there, that's that. End of story. I know family can be complicated, but at the end of the day, you have to respect people's boundaries. And if someone can't do that, then they're the problem, not you. Let your daughter have the birthday she deserves, and if her mom can't handle it, then that's her loss. In this Am I Terrible story, OP wants to know if she's terrible for not telling her fiancé how much money she makes. My boyfriend and I have been living together for 2 years. We recently moved out of our modest apartment and into a 3-bedroom house. Since the house didn't come with a washer or dryer, we opened a line of credit for a new set. Our monthly expenses increased by about $700. After the move, my boyfriend proposed. It was a total surprise and I'm thrilled. We opened up a joint checking account and have made a new budget to quickly pay off the washer and dryer so we could focus on planning our wedding. On a normal month, I make about $600 less than my fiancé, and that's what the new budget is planned around. However, on my last couple of paychecks, I have been able to put in overtime and have made an extra $900 this month. I have the extra money set up to deposit into a separate account. My fiancé knows about the separate account, but I only told him about my first check of overtime, which was $325. He doesn't know about the other check. I've also donated plasma this month, and that money is in its own account. My fiancé has been worried about money since we're trying to pay off the washer and dryer so quickly, and there's our wedding to plan. There have been things for the house we've needed to buy as well. I purchased a weed eater with some of my overtime check. I was afraid to tell him how much I spent, so I lied and told him it cost about half of what it actually did. I also told him I used the money from my plasma donation when I actually used the money from my second overtime check. Am I terrible for keeping the amount of money I'm actually making a secret and not being forthcoming about the price of the appliance? Wow, look at you hiding money and fibbing about how much you spent on a weed eater. You're like a secret agent. But let me tell you something. Honesty is important, and secrets are the enemy of a good relationship. You and your fiancé are supposed to be a team. If you're keeping secrets from him, you're not working together towards your financial goals. And what happens when he finds out? Because he will find out. Trust me, secrets have a way of getting out. I mean, you got engaged, and that's a big deal. You're starting a new chapter in your life, and that means being honest about everything, especially money. You don't want to start off on the wrong foot by hiding things from each other. That's like building a house on quicksand. So come clean. Tell your fiancé about your extra check and the real cost of the weed eater. I know it's scary, but it's better to rip off the band-aid now than wait for it to fester into something worse. And who knows, he might surprise you with his reaction. Maybe he'll be proud of you for putting in extra work and making some extra cash. Or maybe he'll be mad. Either way, you gotta face the music and come clean.